It all starts here. Imagine the silence, an electric hum, the fluorescent light flickers without rhythm. You are alone now, completely alone. Look at your hands. They are soft hands, pianist's hands, mathematician's hands. No calluses. You never worked. Not with your body. Your mind is a weapon, a cold calculator, processing data at light speed. You were born in Brooklyn, but that is far away. The smell of asphalt, the middle class, that was a prison. You wanted more. You always wanted more. Numbers don't lie. People do lie. Emotions deceive. Calculation is pure. You are a prodigy, or so they tell you. You see hidden patterns where others see chaos. The stock market is a living organism, breathing fear, exhaling greed, and you understand it, and better than anyone. You feel superior, intellectually high, above the herd. You enter Dalton, you are the teacher, seducing intellects, controlling the classroom. But it is small. The world is big, and money calls. Bear Stearns waits. The asphalt jungle. You put on the suit, adjust the tie, enter the ring. You are a predator with a child's smile. Nobody suspects a thing. Nobody sees the abyss. Behind your eyes, you learn fast. Power is a drug. The dopamine spikes. Every closed deal is a victory. But there are rules. Rules for them, not for you. You rewrite everything. The system is fragile. You manipulate it, find the gaps, the logical flaws, and you slip inside like a virus, an elegant virus. You make yourself indispensable to the powerful, to the rich. Each you manage their fears, wash their guilt. You are the confidant, the financial wizard. Nobody asks anything if the money flows. Silence is bought. Loyalty is rented. And you have capital, social capital, dark capital. You start to climb the golden ladder. Leave the bank. Found your firm. J. Epstein and Company. Sounds respectable. Sounds mysterious. Nobody knows what you do. You don't have clients. You have patrons. A single man. A textile empire, Chiti. Gives you the keys. Gives you control. And you take it. You take everything. Houses in Manhattan. Giant mansions. Luxury. Surrounds you. Works of art. Persian rugs. But it is not enough. It is never enough. The inner void is a black hole, swallowing light and matter. You need more control. You need people. Important people. You start collecting, not stamps or coins. You collect people. Brilliant scientists, famous politicians, royal princes, they all come to you, to your set table, to your private island. The Caribbean calls you. Turquoise water hides secrets. You build a temple, a pagan temple, dedicated to you, to your own ego. You feel like a god, untouchable and eternal. Science obsesses you. Human genetics. You want to improve yourself? Want to clone yourself? Death is an error, a software error, and you want to correct it? You donate millions to Harvard and MIT. You sit with geniuses, talk about physics, about string theory, yet you feel they're equal, maybe superior, because you pay. You are the owner of the circus. You invite everyone to the private jet. The leather smells good. The champagne is cold. You fly over the world, looking down. Laws are lines, imaginary lines drawn on maps that don't apply to you. You cross borders without passports. Customs officers salute, open doors for you. You are a diplomat of the dark side. You create a network, a vast web of favors and debts. Everyone owes you something. Everyone is afraid of what you know, of what you record, hidden camera, electronic eyes, saving sins on hard drives. It is your insurance, your life policy. Nobody will touch you. If everyone falls, it is mutual destruction, assured and cold, like the Cold War, but in ballrooms and gala dinners. You rub elbows with everyone, presidents and kings are your friends, or so you think. You laugh with them, share the wine, share secrets. You feel validated. The kid from Brooklyn is now the king of shadows. But hubris blinds, pride kills. You feel invincible. You cross the line again and again. Morality is a fairy tale. For poor people, you are an Übermensch. Beyond good, beyond evil, you take what you want. When you want. Youth attracts you. Broken innocence is your fuel. You feel like a vampire, draining life. To feel young, to feel alive. But the world turns and time moves forward. Cracks appear in your armor. Police investigate. In Palm Beach, a brave prosecutor. Or maybe not so much. The system protects you. Once more, the deal of the century, you walk away. With a slap on the wrist, work by day, sleep in jail. It is a mockery, a macabre joke. You feel great. You have beaten the system, bent the law to your own will. You are untouchable. That is what you think. You go back to your life as if nothing happened. The party goes on, money flows. But something changes. The air tightens. Your friends walk away, erase your photos, deny knowing you. You are radioactive, but you don't see it. Your ego blinds you. You keep flying, keep living in your bubble of gold and lies. You think the past is buried, but the past lives. It is an animal that never sleeps, waits for its moment to attack. The climate changes, society screams, new voices emerge. There is no more silence. The victims speak, and the world listens. You are no longer the wizard. You are the monster at you. But you don't believe it. You look in the mirror and see a genius, a misunderstood man, a man of science, persecuted by fools. You return from Paris in your private jet. You feel safe. Nothing will happen to you. You have files. You have names. You have the power. You land in Teterboro. The rain falls. The sky is gray. And there they are. The dark suits. The gold badges. They don't greet you. They don't smile. They put handcuffs on you. The metal is cold. Squeezes your wrists. This is not possible. Must be a mistake. You call your lawyers. Call your contacts. But nobody answers. The phone rings in empty offices. They have abandoned you. You are the dead weight. They must drop so the balloon can rise. They take you south to the correctional center. Smell is rancid, sweat and fear. They take your suit, give you a uniform orange or maybe brown. You are no longer Jeffrey. You are a number, a barcode in the system. You sit on the bed. The mattress is hard, gray walls closing in on you. You try to think, use your logic. Look for the exit, the perfect algorithm to escape. You offer millions, offer your house, ask for bail. But the judge says no. The gavel strikes, and the sound echoed on like a gunshot. They deny you light, deny you air. You are trapped like a rat in a maze that you built. Days pass, slow and heavy. Anxiety grows, cortisol rises. Your neurons fail. You cannot sleep. Hear the screams of other inmates. They look at you with hate. They know who you are. You are not a god. Here you are, meat, fresh meat. Your mind breaks. Paranoia enters. Who watches you? Who protects you? Or who hunts you? Your secrets weigh. Tons of lead on your shoulders. You think of them, your old friends, those who dined at your long table. Where are they now? They are on their yachts. They are in their clubs, drinking whiskey, and you are here, rotting alone. You realize the cruel truth. You were a pawn, a useful pawn, but disposable. They used you, you didn't use them. You were the bank, the safe, and now the safe must be destroyed. To save them, all of them, desperation is a poison running through your veins. You look at the sheets, look at the bars, the camera watches you, or maybe not. Maybe it is broken, or someone turns it off. The guard falls asleep, or pretends to sleep. The hallway is lonely, the silence hums. It is the moment, the final decision, or the execution. It will never be known. History is erased. Entropy wins. Chaos swallows you. You prepare the noose, or feel hands that are not yours. The air is cut. The throat burns. The light goes out. Colors dance. Red and black. Blue and violet. Hypoxia arrives. The brain dies. Synapses fail. Memories fly away. Brooklyn goes. The island goes. The money smokes away. You are nothing anymore, just a body, an empty vessel, hanging or lying in a cell. The world wakes up. The news explodes. Networks burn. Theories conspire. They say they killed you. They say you fled. They say you faked it. But you don't hear. You're gone. You are a ghost, a black legend. The final secret goes with you to the cold grave. Your victims cry in rage and pain. There was no justice. There was no trial. You escaped again through the false door, the back door. You left chaos, left doubts, left pain, and you took the skeleton key to the dark closet of the elite. Now you are dust, ash and bone, but your shadow keeps falling over all of them. Those who remain, those who fear, that you speak from below, that your papers aren't you come to light. Pandora's box was left ajar, and the fear persists in the hallways of global power. Your legacy is that constant fear, eternal doubt. You were the virus in the system, and the system had to purge you to survive. Homeostasis has been restored as the market continues. The stock market rises. People forget, or so they pretend. But deep down in the darkness, everyone remembers the man who knew too much, the man who flew too high, close to the sun, and his wax wings melted, falling into the sea, a sea of silence, deep and black. This is how it ends. Not with a scream, but with a sigh, a last breath, and then nothing. Absolute nothingness. The perfect zero. The final equation was solved at last. X equals 0. Everything cancels out. The balance is null. You closed the book, closed your eyes, and the universe went on without you. Indifferent, cold, and vast. As you were in your prime. Now you are history, a footnote in a dirty book that no one wants to read out loud, but everyone reads in secret, looking for their names in your logs, looking for their guilt in your memory. You are the mirror, broken and dirty, where society does not want to look at itself, because if they look, they will see your face reflected in theirs, the same greed, the same hunger, the same darkness. Only you went further, crossed the edge, and they watched from the shore until you fell, and then they applauded or sighed in pure relief, because your death is their freedom, your silence is their peace, and that is how it works. The machinery grinds and spits, uses and discards, and you knew it. You always knew it. You were an expert in mechanisms, in gears. You just forgot that you were part of the machine, not the operator. You were a fuse designed to burn out when the load became excessive and the load increased. The voltage rose and you burst in the darkness, leaving smoke and the smell of sulfur and endless questions that no one answers, because the truth is dangerous. The truth burns. The truth kills. Better the lie. Better the tale of the lone wolf, of the unique monster, so as not to see that the pack keeps hunting, keeps running, free and wild, in sheep's clothing, with wolf's teeth. You were the symptom, not the disease. The disease continues, lives and breathes, in the skyscrapers, on the private islands, in the offices of mahogany and leather, and you know it from the other side, where there is no time, where there is no money, only the truth, and naked and cold. You laugh at them, a silent laugh, without mouth or voice, because in the end, everyone will come to the same place, to the same void, where power is worth nothing, where gold buys no time, and you wait for them. In the darkness, patiently, eternally, the great equalizer has claimed you. Welcome to nothingness. Jeffrey, your journey ended. Turn off the light. Close the curtain. The show is over. The audience left. Only the echo remains of what you did and what you were, a black hole in the shape of a man who swallowed everything and swallowed himself. End of the line, end of the ride, rest in peace or in torment. That doesn't matter anymore. It is irrelevant. It is just noise, white noise, pure static on the screen of the universe. Click. Everything goes dark. Total darkness. Silence. Absolute. Think of the origin. Let's go back. Rewind the tape. The prodigy child at the piano, the white keys, the black keys, harmony and rhythm. Your brain seeks symmetry, perfection. In an imperfect world, you felt alien, an alien stranded on Earth, observing humans with their flaws, their sentimentalities. You were logic. You were algorithm. Before the internet, you were a network, neural and living, connecting dots that no one saw. Meritocracy was your Bible. Only the capable deserves to rise. Only the brilliant deserves to reign. You despised the average, the mediocre, the ordinary. You wanted the summit, the rarefied air, where the demigods breathe, and you got there by pure force, force of mind, force of will. You didn't ask for permission. You took your seat at the round table of the knights of industry, but you were not noble. You were a pirate with a letter of marque, looting treasures, legally or almost legally. The blurred line was your habitat, your comfort zone, the moral gray on where anything goes if you win in the end. And you won a lot. You won too much. Excess defines you. More is better, and a lot is too little. You wanted life, eternal and young, the fountain of youth, sought in laboratories and in young bodies, an obsession, pathological and raw. You believed yourself exempt from biology, from decay. You wanted to freeze yourself, your head and mind, to revive in a future. Because where you were God, where technology made you eternal, you financed dreams of science fiction while causing real nightmares to human beings of flesh and blood. That disconnection, that dissonance, cognitive and brutal, was your brand. Philanthropist and monster, genius and demon, two faces of Janus, looking to opposite sides of the world. You gave money for science and stole souls for your pleasure. In exchange, thermodynamic, human entropy converted into power. You felt like a Neo in the Matrix, seeing the code, manipulating bits. But the bits were people with names and lives and families and dreams that you crushed like ants, without looking back, without remorse, because ants don't matter to the giant. That was your logic, or your justification for its internal and secret. They're just resources, raw material for your project of a grandiose life. Solipsism taken to the extreme. Only you exist. The others are shadows, projections in your theater, and you were the director, dad, the screenwriter, and the main actor until the theater came crashing down, the lights fell, the stage broke, and reality rushed in like a tsunami of freezing water, woke you up from your dogmatic slumber. You saw yourself naked, without your costumes, without your millions, without your friends, just an old man, tired and alone, waiting for the end in a cage of concrete and steel designed by the state to contain the dangerous ones. And you were dangerous, not because of your fists, but because of your mind and because of your book, full of names that could burn. Entire governments, monarchies, and banks, all trembling because of a file in a safe or in the cloud, encrypted and hidden. That was your ace, your last card. But you didn't play it, or they didn't let you. The game ended. Before the end, someone threw the board to the floor, and the pieces flew, and you with them, into the black abyss of conspiracy and mystery. You became a meme, an internet joke. He didn't kill himself, repeated 1,000 times on forums and networks, an irony, final and bitter. You wanted to be great, be respected, and ended up being a viral hashtag, a dark symbol of corruption, systemic and global. Your name is poison. Nobody pronounces it. Eyes without making a face of disgust or fear. You have achieved fame, immortality, but not the one you wanted. You are not a hero. You are the villain of the movie, of this sad and decadent era. You are the symptom of a sick world that sells its children for a little gold. And you were the buyer, the merchant in the temple, but there was no Christ to expel you with whips, only silence and complicity. For decades, everyone knew, everyone stayed silent, everyone ate from your open hand, and now they wash themselves like Pilate, rubbing their hands with gel and soap. I didn't know him. Just one time. Hardly saw him. They lie, and you laugh. From hell, watching them sweat, watching them tremble. It is your revenge, posthumous and cold, leaving them with fear, leaving them with doubt. That is your inheritance, your cursed legacy. The ghost of Epstein roams the halls, and nobody sleeps peacefully tonight because they know that you recorded everything, and somewhere, someone has the key, someone has the code, and the clock is running. Tick-tock, tick-tock, toward the explosion of the truth, or maybe not. Maybe silence wins the war, and everything is covered up with dirt and money, as always happens, as always happened in human history. The rich win, the dead lose, and the wheel turns, grinding meat, grinding dreams, and you were the axle for a moment of that wheel until you broke from the friction of the excess of the speed. You lived fast, died strange, and left a crater, smoking and toxic, in the conscience of the West. A reminder that evil exists and wears a tie and travels by jet and loves science and smiles softly and shakes your hand while stealing your entire soul. That was you, Jeffrey, the architect of your own grave, the modern Icarus with wings of dollars who flew too high and fell very low to the bottom of the well, where there is no light, where there is no exit, only the end, the final period of the twisted script of your strange life. Cut the reel, burn the tape, turn off the projector, leave the cinema, go back to the street, breathe the air, look at the sky, and be thankful not to be him, not to be there, in that cell, in that moment, when the light went out forever, and darkness unclaimed him as its own, forever. Amen. The cycle closes, the snake bites, the tail at last, eternal Ouroboros of power and death. The structure collapses under its weight. The foundation was rotten, made of victims. In the building, even though it was tall, shiny and modern, couldn't withstand the law of gravity, moral and physical. Everything that goes up must come down, and the fall is proportional to the height. And you were in the stratosphere, orbiting the Earth, looking at the insects, and the fall was astronomical. A meteor impacting life, destroying everything you touched. Your mark is ruin, emotional and social. You left a trail of broken toys, broken people who will never heal. That is your balance, your real balance sheet. Not the millions in Swiss account, but the pain, accumulated and dense, that you generated to feed your insatiable ego. You were a hole. In reality, a technical glitch. In humanity, you lacked empathy, mirror neurons. You didn't feel the other. You only calculated their utility, their use value, like a tool or a coin. And that made you totally effective and lethal in the world of business, where mercy is a weakness. You flourish there like a flower, poisonous and beautiful, attracting flies with your sweet nectar to devour them slowly and cruelly. You perfected the art of manipulation, of engineering, social and mental. You knew what to say, you knew what to keep quiet, knew what to offer to each person, to corrupt them, to trap them in your viscous web. You were the spider, patient and still, in the center of the web, feeling the vibrations of every thread, controlling everything, until the wind of justice or destiny broke the web, and you fell to the ground, vulnerable and small, and the spider was stepped on by the giant boot of reality, and nothing remained, just a stain on the pavement that the rain washes and time erases, but memory is persistent, and the trauma remains etched in the skin of the culture Your name is an adjective, synonym for abuse, of unbridled power, of impunity. You have become an archetype of modern evil, bureaucratic and rich, aseptic and cold, the banker of evil, the treasurer of hell, counting coins of lost souls, while the world keeps turning, ignorant and blind, toward the future. That you wanted a transhuman future, without morals or God, only efficiency and pleasure and power. Maybe you won, in a way, because the world resembles you more every day, superficial and cruel, obsessed with fame and youth and fast money. You were the prophet of this religion, empty and dead, and your disciples keep preaching with other names, with other faces, but the same creed of the same end. Accumulate and use no matter who, no matter how. The end justifies. The means always. For people like you, for people like them, the hidden tribe that pulls the strings behind the curtain, and you were expelled from the tribe for being careless, for being visible, for letting the light enter the cave. That was your crime. Not what you did, but that you got caught and exposed the rest to the danger of being seen. And that is unforgivable. In the high spheres, discretion is the supreme law, and you broke it out of arrogance, out of believing you were bigger than the club, and the club slammed the door in your face and left you outside and, in the cold winter for the wolves to devour you. And so it was poetic justice or settling of scores among criminals. The name doesn't matter. The result is one. You are out of the game. Game over. Insert coin. But there are no coins. Credits ran out. The black screen reflects your face and ours, staring into the abyss, and the abyss stares back, cold, empty and eternal, asking, who is next to fall? Who is next on the list? Because the list is long and goes on, and the wheel turns, and no one is safe. Not the kings, not the presidents, not the tycoons. Everyone is vulnerable. Everyone has secrets. Everyone is afraid of being the next. Jeffrey Epstein, the cautionary tale they tell themselves before sleeping, so as not to forget. The rules of the game: never expose yourself, never trust, never leave tracks. And if they catch you, remember, silence is golden, but death is the silence definitive and perfect, without appeal, without parole, a life sentence in oblivion or in infamy. You chose the path and reached the end. Congratulations. You achieved your goal, being unforgettable for the worst reasons. Now rest, if you can. It's in the darkness, eternal and dense, of your own creation. Goodbye. Jeffrey, the show is over. Forever. Cut.